Mame fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Well, Right Honourable Speaker, I have the honor to present to Parliament a comprehensive update on the recent developments regarding Ghana's diplomatic mission in Washington, D.C., United States of America. As members of this August House may be aware, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs took an extraordinary but necessary step on the 26th of May 2025 to temporarily close the mission in Washington, D.C. and recall staff to Accra following reports of grave legal infractions. This decision was made after thorough deliberations and prompted by incriminating findings from a special audit team, which uncovered instances of fraud, conflict of interest, and corruption, particularly involving visa processing and the unauthorized activities of a third-party agent operating under the name Ghana Travel Consultants, GTC. With the full support of His Excellency the President, this action marked our government's unwavering stance against corruption and our commitment to protect the integrity and the image of our foreign service. Right Honourable Speaker, the special audit team which I set up was made up of senior management of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They uncovered a complex web of corruption that compromised the integrity and efficiency of the embassy's operations. Among the findings are the unlawful activities and conflict of interest involving one Mr. Fred Kwating, who was formerly employed on August 11, 2017, according to our records at the Ministry, as an information technology officer. Mr. Kwating continued to work with the mission with a renewal of annual temporary appointments. It has also emerged that Mr. Fred Kwating was not qualified to be employed as a local staff, as he does not possess the appropriate legal status to be employed in the USA. Mr. Speaker, additionally, the investigations revealed that Mr. Kwating is the owner and main operator of Ghana Travel Consultants. The company was later mysteriously contracted to provide exclusive courier handling for the mission, effective 1st January 2023, by the former ambassador, Her Excellency Hajia Alima Mahama. The team discovered that this situation started as far back as 2019. Therefore, the 2023 contract only sought to legitimize what was palpably wrong. This dual role as IT contract staff and at the same time service provider, where he illegally redirects applicants to his own company, GTC, created a criminally unacceptable situation where personal interest was clearly prioritized over official duties to the detriment of the mission's objectives and public trust. Mr. Speaker, investigations have revealed that on 19th November 2019, Mr. Fred Kwating was issued a formal query when the then head of Chancery, Her Excellency Genevieve Akpalu, who is now the head of mission or the ambassador at Ghana's embassy in Tokyo, Japan. She first discovered this illegal link on the website. It is curious that not much appeared to have happened after that query, as shockingly, Mr. Kwating became bolder with his unlawful activities, which continued after more than 6 years. Mr. Speaker, I have here with me a copy of the 2019 query. And with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I'll read the query. dated 19 November 2019, signed by Genevieve Akpalu, Minister Head of Chancery. And it reads, Dear Sir, query. It has come to the notice of management of the embassy that in September 2019, you modified the embassy's website in respect of visa passport acquisition process without the necessary express approval. Will you explain why disciplinary action should not be taken against you for taking this unilateral, important decision? Your response should reach the undersigned not later than close of work on Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. Mr. Speaker, it remains a mystery how nothing happened after this query on the 19th of November 2019. Mr. Speaker, the mission's engagement of GTC was characterized by an irregular procurement process and a blatant disregard for the provisions of the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, as amended by Act 914. Furthermore, the contract between the mission and GTC, Financial Administration Regulations 2004, LI 1802. Mr. Speaker, this lack of adherence to established protocols undermines the principles of accountability and good governance that we strive to uphold in our diplomatic missions. Nonetheless, the head of consular section, who has oversight responsibilities for all consular activities, including visa and passport processing, and the head of chancery, cannot reasonably claim to have been unaware of the prevailing circumstances. Thus, their failure to perform in a proper manner the duties imposed on them contravened regulations, undermined efficient conduct, and brought the image and the good name of the Republic of Ghana into disrepute. According to their own account, GTC had been depositing unspecified amounts into an unauthorized welfare account being operated by the mission. And these payments were not subject to audit until the payments were discontinued. This fact was known to the staff of the mission, and the said funds were used for unofficial activities by the mission on the blind side of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The team discovered that GTC's website was directly linked to the mission's website for courier services, providing no alternative options to applicants. This unauthorized and illegal arrangement not only limited the applicant's choice, but also compelled the applicants to opt for the courier service provided by Mr. Fred Kwarteng. Right Honourable Speaker, it is noteworthy that Fred Kwarteng's company operates from offices located about a 40-minute drive from the embassy, raising concerns regarding the nature of this arrangement and the extent of oversight exercised by the embassy. While the company operates a dedicated driver service that picks up and drops off passports between GTC and the mission, applicants have the option to drop off and collect their documents in person at GTC. It remains a mystery how GTC was allowed to become an annex of our embassy in Washington, D.C. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, the ministry entered an agreement with EMH Global, which was renewed in 2024, to standardize the websites of selected missions, including the Washington mission. However, these attempts were rebuffed by the Washington mission to avoid accountability and transparency. Even though Ghana paid for this contract to standardize all websites, only the Washington, D.C. website was not standardized and reconfigured. Everything was done by staff of the mission to prevent EMH Global to carry out their legitimate contract, which they had earned by the previous government. Mr. Speaker, to date, that synchronization has not been done. Had it been done, the link used to redirect applicants to GTC's website for the illicit business would have been curtailed. It cannot, therefore, be justifiably claimed that this action was executed at the mission by a lone wolf at the lower echelons of the mission's hierarchy. Mr. Speaker, you will agree with me that all service-related revenue must be managed in accordance with the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, and establish ministry protocols under the Fees and Charges Miscellaneous Provisions Act 2022, Act 1080, which was passed by this esteemed House. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, the mission adopted a full online mailing system for visa and passport dispatch. Again, this was managed by Mr. Fred Kwarteng. Under this arrangement, applicants were offered delivery options via FedEx and USPS, for which they were charged a whopping $29.75 United States dollars each. Additionally, Mr. Kwarteng's company, GTC, also introduced a new service where he invited applicants to come for assistance in completing visa and passport forms, where he charged them between 60 and 100 United States dollars per applicant. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that 99% of all applicants utilize the services of GTC, meaning 99% of all applicants paid an extra, unauthorized, illegal, a figure not approved by this House under our fees and charges law, between $29 and $100. Mr. Speaker, investigations conducted by the top management of our ministry reveals that GTC dispatched between 150 to 350 visas and passports daily. Therefore, on average, about 250 visas and passports were dispatched daily by GTC. Right, Honourable Speaker, this implies that yearly GTC dispatched approximately 62,500 visas and passports. Mr. Fred Kwarteng was therefore raking an estimated 1,859,375 United States dollars annually for courier services alone. Mr. Speaker, you can comprehend the substantial sum he earns annually after adding fees for assisting applicants in completing their visa and passport forms, for which he charged between $60 and $100. By conservative analysis, Mr. Fred Kwarteng made about $4.8 million annually from his unlawful enterprise. Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that there was no share, there was no revenue sharing arrangement with the ministry. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs had no share. This $4.8 million was controlled totally by Mr. Fred Kwarteng. Mr. Speaker, given that these are funds that were derived, Mr. Speaker, given that these are funds that were derived from unauthorized operations, it has become imperative to invite the Economic and Organized Crime Office and the Attorney General to investigate, trace the proceeds, and prosecute Mr. Fred Kwarteng and his collaborators as instructed by
Minister,
President Mahama.
Minister,
This we have promptly done.
Minister, just hold on. It's a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, let me apologize to the Minister for interrupting him. But I have a copy of the statement he distributed to us. And I've been following him. It seems the Minister is reading a different statement from what we have. Because in the statement I have, Mr. Speaker, page 4. Page 4. Hold
on.
He says the person raked in an estimated $1.8 million. But the Minister is saying $4 million. So I want us to reconcile that. I have a different statement.
Honorable Abujinapo, just about a year ago, you used to be here.
Yes.
And as a minister...
Yeah. No, what I have is different. The statement I have... Mr. Speaker, I just want to be sure we're on the same page with the Minister. The statement that was distributed is different from the statement the Minister is being reading to us. That's my issue.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I encourage the respected ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee to pay attention to paragraph 17. It's the same statement I'm reading. So the 1.8 million is for the courier service, and then the $4.8 million is where he adds it's all there. Paragraph 17.
Honorable
Let me read it
Please.
again. Let me read it again for you. You don't have paragraph 17? You don't?
Honorable
Let me
member.
read paragraph 17 for you.
Yes, go on.
I'm reading paragraph 17 again for emphasis. This implies that this... Okay.
Honorable Minister, go ahead. You.
So, my leader wants me to read from paragraph 16. So, right honourable Speaker, for emphasis, going back to paragraph 16. Following the COVID-19 pandemic, the mission adopted a fully online mailing system for visa and passport dispatch, managed by Fred Kwarteng. Under this arrangement, applicants were offered delivery options via FedEx and USPS, for which they were charged a whopping $29.75 United States dollars. Additionally, GTC also aids applicants in completing visa and passport forms for a fee between 60 and 100 United States dollars per applicant. Mr. Speaker, it will interest you to know that 99% of all applicants utilize the services of GTC, meaning 99% of all applicants paid the extra $29.75, which was not approved by this House. Investigations reveal that GTC dispatched between 150 to 350 visas and passports daily. Therefore, on average, about 250 visas and passports were dispatched daily by GTC. Mr. Speaker, this implies that yearly GTC dispatched approximately 62,500 visas and passports. Mr. Fred Kwarteng has therefore been raking in an estimated $1,859,375 United States dollars annually for courier services alone. That is for courier services alone. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, you can comprehend.
Honorable, hold on. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 91-2A. And Mr. Speaker, it reads that a Minister of State may make a statement of government policy, and the statement shall be limited to facts. Mr. Speaker, it should be limited to facts which are necessary to be made known to the House. Mr. Speaker, based on the statement he's saying and the figures he's quoting, it is his own assumption. They are not facts. They are not facts. They are not facts.
Honorable leader.
No, they are not facts.
Honorable leader.
So, Mr.
No. How will you know that it's not a fact?
Mr. Speaker, the minister is making his statement based on assumption, and assumptions are not facts. Yes, I have a copy of the statement. He's assuming. Oh, these are not facts, Mr. Speaker. The minister must limit himself to
Honorable
facts.
Habib.
And what he's saying is not facts.
Honorable Habib, you are a leader. That is why I gave you that opportunity. But how can you say that the minister's figures he's turning out are not facts?
Mr. Speaker, if you read the minister's statement, who gave you that statement? No, yes, I have a copy of the statement. I have it here. Mr. Speaker, the minister the minister is not being factual because all the figures he's giving is based on assumption. It's based on assumption.
Very well. You say that. Yes. Leader.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
I don't know. What?
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, please. Yes, leader, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, let's take the work we do here seriously. Let's take the work we do here seriously. We are here as members of Parliament to hold the executive accountable. We have a right to demand that members of the executive, specifically ministers, are brought to this House to brief us on certain matters. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
leader, just address me.
Mr. Speaker, when this incident occurred, no less a person than the minority leader came to this House and demanded that we summon the Minister for Foreign Affairs to come and answer questions why he had closed our mission down for 2 days. That is the minority leader himself. The minister is here. Now, let us educate ourselves on parliamentary processes. When a minister stands here and makes a statement, and we feel strongly that he has misinformed the House, in some jurisdictions, it is grounds for the removal of the minister. In some jurisdictions, in the UK, it is basis for the minister to be impeached by the House. So when a minister comes and is making a statement, let's listen to him. When we finish and we have issues about certain factual statements made by the minister, we can then take the minister on. That's what we do. But when the minister is making the statement and then people in the front bench get up and then they interrupt the minister, this is not how we do it. If he makes a statement and mentions a figure, you have the right later on to go and investigate and interrogate those figures. You can come back to this House and demand that the minister be taken on because he has presented an inaccurate figure. The minister has no responsibility to give us copies of his statements. But he's been magnanimous and shared copies with us. But the fact that we're holding copies doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to him. It is what he says here that is important, not what is in the statement. He can actually amend while speaking what is in the statement. He can amend it. If he himself notices that something is inaccurate in the written statement, he can, in delivery, amend it himself. What we will hold him by is what he says. So I plead with you. If you want the ministers to keep coming and answering our questions and making statements when we summon them, let's accord them the opportunity to do so.
Leader, thank you. Honorable Minister, please continue.
I'm grateful to you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me state for the record that I am happy to make available the full report of the audit team for members to study and appreciate. Nothing being presented here is conjecture or is not the fact. I am presenting to this House incontrovertible, irrefutable facts, and that has to be emphasized. Mr. Speaker, I take paragraph 17 again. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, you can comprehend that a substantial sum he earns annually, after adding fees for assisting applicants in completing their visa and passport forms, which, as I've emphasized, was an illegal enterprise, not approved under our Fees and Charges Act. By analysis made by the audit team, the fact-finding team, which is a team, as I've said earlier, made up of distinguished senior diplomats, management of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Fred Kwarteng was making $4.8 million annually from his unlawful enterprise. It is important to emphasize that there was no share of this amount to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Given that these are funds that were derived from unauthorized operations, it has become imperative to invite the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and the Attorney General to investigate, trace the proceeds, and prosecute Fred Kwarteng and his collaborators, as instructed by the President. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad to inform you that the ministry has promptly done. The investigation also revealed that the Auditor General's office had raised concerns about the embassy's operations and financial management some 2 years ago. Specifically, the audit findings highlighted issues with procurement practices and financial accountability, which seem to have been ignored or inadequately addressed. Right Honourable Speaker, the investigations revealed that Fred Kwarteng's company, GTC, was initially jointly owned with his ex-wife, which raises additional questions about the nature of their business relationship and potential conflict of interest. Admissions from Fred Kwarteng himself, when he met the audit finding team, as well as current and former staff of the embassy, confirm that he did not act alone in this matter. It appears that there may have been a network of individuals involved in this web of corruption, which underscores the need for thorough investigation and accountability. We must contemplate the motivation behind the creation of a system that benefits a few individuals at the bottom of the food chain at our diplomatic mission. Mr. Speaker, in light of these findings and in accordance with the reset agenda, my ministry took the following decisive actions with the full blessing of President John Mahama. 1, the immediate dismissal of Mr. Fred Kwarteng. 2, the recall of all staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs posted to the Washington mission. 3, the swift dissolution of the embassy's IT department. 4, the suspension of all the embassy's locally recruited staff. 5, the Auditor General was promptly invited to conduct a forensic audit of all transactions. 6, the temporary closure of the embassy to finalize the restructuring and systems overhaul at the embassy. We also issued a press release informing the public of the impending reopening of the embassy 3 days after, that is on the 29th of May, 2025. Right Honourable Speaker, following the closure, I appointed the respected and distinguished Ambassador Mrs. Jane Gasu Aheto, who was the head of legal department until this recent appointment, as the acting head of mission, and tasked her to lead a team of senior foreign service officers and personnel from the research department to Washington, D.C. Their mission is as follows: restore integrity to the operations of the embassy, overhaul the mission's IT systems, implement internal controls, address administrative gaps, and ensure a smooth and credible reopening of our diplomatic presence. The team arrived in Washington between the 31st of May and 1st June 2025. By that time, the ministry's IT unit, in collaboration with interim staff from our New York mission, had already laid the groundwork for the official reopening of the mission on 29th May 2025. Key findings and challenges. Mr. Speaker, upon arrival, The team led by the ambassador encountered a backlog of over 2,300 visa applications. And I'm sure that honorable members have seen a number of videos about frustrations being expressed by visa applicants at the Washington Embassy. Mr. Speaker, there was also no structured filing or tracking system in place, compounding the issue. An average of 350 new applications were being submitted daily. The situation was highly disorganized and required urgent intervention. Mr. Speaker, I arrived at the mission on 1st June 2025 to personally assess the situation on the ground. During my visit, I held meetings with both local and home-based staff, where I clearly conveyed the government's position on the matter. I underscored that Mr. Frederick Kwarteng, the principal suspect in this case, along with any accomplices, will be held fully accountable under the law. This includes cooperating with U.S. authorities to freeze their accounts linked to this criminal enterprise. Right Honourable Speaker, I issued a series of directives which are currently being enforced. The establishment of an internal investigative committee to probe all locally recruited staff. IOCO has been formally notified to pursue Mr. Fred Kwarteng, to trace the proceeds of crime, and to have him brought to Ghana for prosecution. A complete overhaul of the IT department and digital platforms. The streamlining of the Client Services Center to enhance transparency. Implementation of a secure and trackable mailing system. Renovation of the Chancery building to uplift its deteriorating image. And introduction of a biometric clocking system to monitor staff attendance. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to report that significant progress has been made between 27th May and 13th June 2025. A total of 4,472 visas were processed and issued. 3,588 passports were dispatched. A further 3,729 visa applications were received. And all visa backlog cases from April and May 2025 have now been fully processed. To manage the high volume of applications, the mission's working hours have been extended from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., with some officers working beyond 10 p.m. And Mr. Speaker, I must commend the dedication and commitment of our diplomats in rising to this challenge. Mr. Speaker, the mission's IT infrastructure has been fully reconfigured to enhance security and service delivery. All the unauthorized access points have been removed. A live chat system has been introduced, and official email accounts have been updated to promote professionalism and responsiveness. In addition, 3 new phone lines have been added to reduce call congestion. 2,277 real-time online chats and 543 email inquiries were handled within a 2-week period. To further improve performance, the mission is also rolling out a mandatory training program focused on professional client service and work ethics. Pursuant to these directives, the Internal Investigative Committee has to date interviewed 25 locally recruited staff. A few individuals have since tendered their resignations. The remaining staff are scheduled to be interviewed within the week. A comprehensive report, including findings and recommendations, will be submitted upon the conclusion of the inquiry. Mr. Speaker, while the visa and passport issuance process has significantly improved, the primary challenge remains mailing delays, largely due to logistical failures by the United States Postal Service. Approximately 490 duly issued visa packages mailed on 6th and 9th June 2025 were not properly scanned, leading to concerns among applicants. In response, we have directly engaged USPS to mitigate future disruptions. Measures implemented include staggering mail dispatches to a maximum of 200 packages per day to enhance tracking and delivery efficiency. Mr. Speaker, may I stress that contrary to propaganda out there, no new recruitment has been carried out at our Washington, D.C. mission. All the replacements are distinguished senior foreign service officers of many years of impeccable experience and integrity. Our decisive reset intervention, by not looking on, as happened in the past, has sent a very clear message that the Mahama administration will not be complicit in dubious schemes that border on corruption, conflict of interest, abuse of office, and cruel exploitation of clients of our missions abroad. Government's actions have projected a great and positive image of our beloved country. In concluding, Right Honourable Speaker, despite the serious nature of the infractions that led to the temporary closure of the mission, I am pleased to report that the Washington, D.C. mission has been fully reopened. Operations are stabilizing, and confidence in Ghana's diplomatic representation in the United States is being steadily restored. Mr. Speaker, as Minister, I remain resolutely committed to advancing the necessary institutional reforms, ensuring that justice is served in cases of corruption, conflict of interest, and abuse of office, upholding the highest standards of integrity and service delivery across all our missions abroad. Mr. Speaker, I will continue to keep this House informed as both the investigations and reform processes progress. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, I will only take a comment each from each side. Honourable members, just go through the order paper. Take the order paper and just go through. So many questions, and some of the questions is even directed to the minister in connection of this particular issue. So just bear with me. I will take just one comment from each side, and I don't know if even leadership will see sense with me, I will ignore leadership as well. I'm taking one. If even you compromise with me, I will even skip leadership. Yes, Honorable Ranking. So I'll take the ranking. Chairman, are you also talking? So I take the ranking and I take the chairman. Very well. Then I'll give opportunity to leadership. But please bear in mind, now I have to be straight on the orders. Please, 93.5, a member may comment on a statement for a period not exceeding 5 minutes, and the comment shall not provoke debate. I'm going to strictly adhere to that. I'm doing this because of so many business that we have to conduct. So, Honorable Samuel Bujenapo. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, I do agree with you that we need to manage our time very well. But this is a matter that engaged significant national attention. And I recall the minority leader that very day urgently requested for an opportunity to make a statement and demanded that the Foreign Affairs Minister should be here to answer questions. A press conference was organized on the matter. And when we rescheduled the Foreign Affairs Minister, he came under enormous attack. Mr. Speaker, today, such a comprehensive report based on a thorough investigation of the situation has been presented to the House. We cannot limit it to just one person on each side. There is significant interest on both sides of the House. There is significant interest. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think we should allow about 3-3.
Honorable Leader.
3-3.
Honorable Leader, respectfully, I'll go with my ruling. just look at the questions. The urgent question 1, which is filed by, the question was filed by Samuel Bujinapo. The question is soliciting almost the same information. You take the 2B, it's almost the same line. So I think all the information that we need or we need to provide to the nation, we can solicit, if not through the statement, through the questions. So I want to just stick to what I've just said, 1 each, then I'll give the opportunity to leadership. Please bear with me. Yes, Honorable Ranking Member.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by thanking the Honorable Minister for this very elaborate statement given to the House, and also to thank him and welcome his decision to share the report of the Ministerial Investigative Committee to the House, because, Mr. Speaker, at the committee level, we had requested for this report, and we are yet to have a look at the report. Mr. Speaker, let me very quickly make the point that we from this side, the minority, we are not against or opposed to any effort to establish accountability. We don't have any difficulty whatsoever. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, we encourage the minister to ensure that wherever there is rot or wherever there is corruption, he should investigate, root it out, and bring the perpetrators to book. Mr. Speaker, a certain Mr. Kwarteng is alleged to have been involved in a corrupt act. That cannot be the burden of this side of the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I make this point. Mr. Speaker, I make this point because in a government machinery, even today, in this government, you may have public servants, civil servants, officials in parts of the government machinery conducting themselves in a manner which is inappropriate. Those people, there should be investigations. If they are found out, they should be brought to book. So we want to assure the minister and assure the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that the Committee on Foreign Affairs, the minority caucus on this committee, fully supports his effort. In any event, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Fred Kwarteng was recruited into the Washington mission as far back as 2013, during the time of President Mahama. Mr. Speaker, the contract for which the minister is very unhappy about, Mr. Speaker, the first time Mr. Kwarteng was given a similar contract on temporary basis was in the year 2015. And I can furnish the minister with evidence to support the assertions I'm making. Mr. Speaker, the basis for the investigations or the basis of this alleged corruption, and I use the word alleged with great emphasis. Mr. Speaker, what is the basis of it? The basis of it is, to simplify it, is that the mission in Washington is supposed to have gotten into a certain arrangement with Mr. Kwarteng's company because, according to the mission, there was some bureaucratic inertia in terms of transmitting visas and passport booklets to applicants. Mr. Speaker, the minister himself is attempting an effort like that here in Ghana, where he's employing courier services for the transmission of passports to applicants. Mr. Speaker, that is the basis for this alleged corruption. Simplicity. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, there is an Indian company. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, there is an Indian company called Premium. An Indian company called Premium, which is rendering the same services Mr. Kwarteng's company is supposed to have been rendering to the Washington mission, which has become the basis for this allegation of corruption. That company is still rendering the same service today. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, what is the point? The point I seek to make is that the foundation or the basis on which Mr. Kwarteng's company was contracted, Mr. Speaker, in and by itself, is not wrong. There is a company, an Indian company, rendering the same service today. Mr. Kwarteng's company was given a contract to render that same service on a temporary basis in 2015. Honorable Minister Ablakwa is making strenuous efforts in a welcome manner, commendably, to render the same service to Ghanaians here in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, thirdly, the quantum of money, the funds that are supposed to have been accrued to Mr. Kwarteng's company, assuming without admitting. Mr. Speaker, let me also put on record, those are not public funds. Those are funds which are supposed to have been paid to Mr. Kwarteng's company on the basis of this Washington mission's contract with him. And so let us be clear, the $1.8 million and the $4 million the minister alluded to, Mr. Speaker, are not funds out of public exchequer. These are amounts that the minister has put together, has estimated to be, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, there's a final point I need to be. Mr. Speaker, so the difficulty the minority have had is the question whether or not the allegation for which reason the minister set up the committee of inquiry warranted the closure of the Washington mission. Mr. Speaker, let me refer you to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1970. Mr. Speaker, it's very important. As the majority leader rightly said, this is a matter which has generated a lot of domestic and international interest. And I'm the ranking with the greatest respect. Mr. Speaker, if I may refer you to the Vienna Convention. The Vienna Convention set up copiously the steps that a country ought to take or to adhere to in closing down a mission. The first step, Mr. Speaker, step one, government decision must be at the highest level. There must be a notification to the host country. There must be coordination with the host country. Before the announcement and the reassignment of foreign service officers, Mr. Speaker,
thank you.
There must be, these steps have to be adhered to. And the point we made here, and if I may conclude on that,
your point is made.
That, Mr. Speaker, is that the procedure which was adopted,
thank you.
The procedure which was adopted to close down the Washington mission was one which is alien to public international law and is not consistent with the Vienna Convention.
Thank you.
And in 48 hours, the minister opened the mission, and that tells us that the decision was a rushed one.
Thank you.
We welcome the probe. We don't have a difficulty with the probe. But we will always insist that we should adhere to procedural propriety in terms of how we manage our foreign relations and foreign policy and the missions of our country. That is the position of this minority. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Honorable members, you see, I decided not to pick. You see, these interjections will always waste a lot of time. I beg of you. Please.
Records. The minister in briefing this house stated clearly that the gentleman was employed according to the records of the ministry in 2017. He, on the other hand, is telling this house that the gentleman was employed in 2013 without any evidence. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records, and for us to make progress, it is important that these records are, yes, these records are certain. It's as simple as that. He should lay it. He should just table it so that at least we can verify. It adds to the records of this house.
Honorable Habib, well. Let me listen to. Let me listen to Honorable Chairman for Foreign Affairs Committee.
Mr. Speaker, having heard the report as presented by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, leading to the closure of the Washington mission, one has no doubt but to conclude that the minister did the right thing. The minister saw a route, rose to the occasion, took the necessary steps, and corrected the situation. Mr. Speaker, the country voted to reset this country.
That's right.
And when the people spoke, they spoke and gave the mandate to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his appointees to correct corrupt practices. whether in this country or abroad. And that is what the minister has done. The minister's report cannot be, no individual of this house should support this practice in any of our missions. Our students just left here. And if our children heard this report and we stand to defend it, please. Please.
Why?
If we say we support the minister, then let's support him all the way. We cannot say we support the minister, turn around and question what the individual did. Please, that is not right. Ghanaians have voted to reset, and the minister is resetting the ministry. The committee supports him in the action to reset. Yes. So let us work together, because that is the mandate that Ghanaians have given us. I stand to encourage the minister that we should go all out. That is the mandate that's been given to us. We will work with the ministry to ensure that Ghana see better days in the future. With these few words, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me now revert to the leadership. Yes, Honorable Deputy.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I yield to the Member of Parliament for Busimi Fremu, Asafo-Adjei.
Yeah, we went together. Honorable Asafo-Adjei, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to also commend the minister for availing himself to brief the House and give us some information that is very critical and crucial. Mr. Speaker, just to also emphasize and make the point once again for emphasis that this side of the House, the minority on the committee, is not and will never be against the minister's quest to probe or to ensure that the right thing is done. Mr. Speaker, but diplomacy, Mr. Speaker, is tactfulness. Mr. Speaker, diplomacy is backdoor talks. Diplomacy is consultation. Diplomacy is, Mr. Speaker, diplomacy is key and must know that there are some things that should and must not be openly, overtly, or covertly putting out there. Mr. Speaker, I have the minister's letter, which designates a team of people who are supposed to take over at the Washington Embassy. Mr. Speaker, Ambassador Mrs. Jane Gasu Aheto, head of the mission. Mr. Bernard Kwetsin, head of consular. Mrs. Bernice A. Hodegbeke, minister. Mrs. Emanuela Kakari Ajima. Mr. Speaker, there are records in the ministry between 2011 and 2013 of one of the members here engaging in key issues that are fraudulent and corrupt. Mr. Speaker, she was called back from the New York mission. Mr. Speaker, emphasis, Madam Jane Gasu Aheto. Mr. Speaker, she was at the New York Embassy. Mr. Speaker, she was involved in corruption and she was called back to Ghana. And out of settlement and arrangement, she was made to repay the monies that was involved in this issue. So for the minister to tell us that embassy is now, the ministry is now taking with all the descriptions and nomenclatures, professional, exceptional ambassadors or Ghanaian incorruptible to the Washington ministry, we beg to differ. This matter, if I've not mentioned it here, was under, the country didn't even know about it. That is how diplomacy is still treated. Yeah. It doesn't mean that we should not apprehend or we should not deal with people who are involved in this issue. Mr. Speaker, the next thing to say, as it stands now, for the past 2 weeks, that the ministry announced that the embassy will be reopened. Mr. Speaker, the embassy was reopened but was not functional. Mr. Speaker, there was no delegation from Ghana that got to Washington. Rather, the minister assigned some members from New York to go and take charge in the Washington embassy. And this has caused a lot of Ghanaians in Washington, the devastation, the challenges, the issue, the hardship going through to get visa and passports. Mr. Speaker, let it be on record.
Thank you.
That the decision to close embassy has caused Ghana more harm than good. And we are becoming a joke in the eyes of the public.
Thank you so much.
Speaker, we must put that on record.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable members, please, we've heard you. Let's listen to the majority leader. Yes, leader. Yes, leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think this House should thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs for coming to this House should thank the Minister for Foreign Affairs for coming to fully disclose to us exactly what happened in our Washington mission. So, Speaker, I think that clearly the investigations reveal a number of infractions. First and foremost, this is the only house that can decide on the fees and charges that any institution can levy on any person for a service rendered by the Republic of Ghana. This is the only house. And to the extent that this house did not approve of any charge for a service in the acquisition of a visa to enter Ghana, that is a clear infraction of the laws of Ghana. No matter how valuable the service, no matter how good intention it may have been, clearly there has been a violation of the laws of Ghana. And if for nothing, this House should be interested in that. That how did it happen that civil servants on their own, without parliamentary approval, sat down and created a business whereby services were rendered for the acquisition of Ghanaian visas and payments were made without the approval of this parliament? No matter what it is, there is a clear infraction of the law that this House should be interested in. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we may dispute when Mr. Kwarteng assumed office at the embassy. But there's no dispute that he was the IT officer when he assumed office. Whichever date, but he assumed office as the IT officer of the embassy. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt, that as the IT officer, that he and it is said a spouse own a company that were providing IT services to the same organization. Mr. Speaker, even if there is a similar contract in the UK for the acquisition of Ghanaian visas by an Indian company, let us not lose sight of the fact that for our IT officer at the Washington office to now set up a private company to render IT services, and the fees goes to him, no matter how good intentioned, that is a clear case of conflict of interest. Another clear instance of infraction of our laws. Mr. Speaker, I think this House is the defender of the interest of the ordinary people who approach government for services. And I must commend the minister for the effort that he took or made to stop this. To stop this. Mr. Speaker, the day that the statement was made here, in this House, on my way home, a friend called me and told me that the figure we are even quoting is below what they were actually paid. And what he told me, and he's ready to testify, what he told me was that it was deliberately made in such a way that you could not on your own apply online for a visa. Deliberately. So even though you could apply online, it became impossible for anyone to apply online, so that you will go and then seek the services of the company. And this is where conflict of interest comes in. So if the person in charge of our IT system at our mission has a business of providing that service, why won't it be easy to make it impossible for people who can ordinarily apply online to apply, so that you will seek the services of his company? That is what conflict of interest is all about. So, Mr. Speaker, such a matter cannot come before this House and we will attempt to belittle it. We cannot attempt to belittle it. This is a very serious matter, happening not here in Ghana, but in Washington. Our institutions had degenerated to a point where we were exporting such practices abroad. We had done it in Ghana, SML, whatever it was. So many concocted arrangements that today we have unending investigations. National Service Secretariat, everywhere you turn. And we're not satisfied doing it domestically. We now decided that it is a commodity worth exporting to foreign countries. And we're exporting to foreign countries.
Honorable Leader, your term is almost up.
Mr. Speaker, I think that Yoko must investigate the matter. We expect the report of Yoko's investigation expedited and presented to this House by the minister. Because this House is going to insist on swift and certain punishment for such violations of the flag and coat of arms of Ghana abroad in the United States. Mr. Speaker, I heard somebody talk about hardship. Can you calculate the hardship of all those who had to go through this grueling treatment and had to cough out their money? And you're talking about hardship. Whose hardship are we talking about here? Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you.